Where were you on November 22nd, 1963? 60 years ago today. Do you remember where you were? Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 22nd, 2023, here in northern New Jersey, and I am doing a live show from the studio today. No car live, no park live. Right from the studio early this morning, and I figured I'd come on early this morning. The show was scheduled actually for 8:30, I believe, but I had some extra time, so I figured I'd come on. So, where were you 60 years ago today? Were you around? Maybe some of you weren't even born. Well, I was really, really young. And I tell you what happened. That's a day. First of all, it's a very sad day in history. And I can't believe that it's 60 years ago today. Like, where did 60 years go to? And it's a day that if you live through it, you'll never forget it. You'll never forget that day. It's embedded in your mind. And I was, it was a sunny day that day. I was in Catholic grammar school, and it was about 2:30 to 2:45 when the principal came on the loudspeaker and said, everyone go to the church, and we must pray for the president. So, of course, we all left our classrooms and we went down the road to the church, because the church was right next to the Catholic grammar school, and we all went in church, and of course we all prayed. But at that time, being so young, I had no idea, what was going on. None of us did really. I don't even think the teachers knew. I don't know if Walter Cronkite had come on TV, because there was no social media back then. So Walter Cronkite, I think, was the only one that was broadcasting that over TV. I think it interrupted as the world turns. So we went to church and we prayed, and our parents were called, and they were told to pick us up. The children that would walk home that day normally didn't walk home, that our parents would come to pick us up at church. So I remember my father picking me up at church. It was about, I'm going to say, about 3:30, maybe 3:45. And we were riding in the car, and I said to him, Daddy, I said, what happened? And my father turned to me and said, the president has been killed. And, I looked at him, and as being so young, it didn't really register. I didn't really have any kind of a feeling like shock or anything, because I was too young. Okay, the president was shot. Okay. So he took me over to my grandmother's house, and because my grandmother at that time was retired and she wasn't working, and then he left and he went back to work. Later on, when I went over to my grandmother's house, the TV was on, my grandmother was crying, my grandfather was at work, and I said to my grandmother, I said, Grandma, why are you crying? And she said, well, the president has been killed. And I said, oh, that Daddy told me that. But, I didn't understand. I was very, very young. But I do remember this. And then after, later on in the evening, my father came over, my mother came over from work, and, we had dinner, and they were all around the TV, and that was it. But the whole weekend, then after that, the whole weekend, my mother and I were in front of the TV the next day. Now, that was November 23rd. And I think, November 23rd. We were watching TV. Now, I remember I saw Oswald get shot on live TV. So I'm sitting, in front of the TV with my mom, and my father is in the kitchen painting, right? I'll never forget that. He's painting. And here comes Oswald. They're taking him down, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom, I don't remember how many shots it was, boom, and you hear him screaming, and then you see everybody rushing, and my mother's like yelling, oh my God, they just shot Oswald, and I'm looking at my mother, and I'm like, what is going on? It's not funny, I'm laughing because, like, what was going on? I'm a young kid, My father comes running in and he goes, what happened? My mother says, my father's name is Vinny. Vinny, they just shot Oswald. He said, what? And so my father stopped painting, and now he's in front of the TV. My mother's in front of the TV, and they're all like this, And I'm just like sitting there like, what? Like, what's going on, I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not. It wasn't funny. I mean, it wasn't funny at all. But so I saw Oswald get shot on live TV, and of course, the end of that. He ended up dying, and then the whole weekend. President Kennedy was actually buried on my birthday, which was the 26th of November, which my birthday will be on Sunday. And he was buried. I watched the whole funeral. It was very, very sad. I mean, as a young kid, it didn't affect me as much as it did my parents. But later on in life, when I started thinking about it, it's something that you never forget. It's a sad thing, and I got to tell you something that if it wasn't for Abraham Zapruder with the Zapruder film, I don't think that he was just in the right place at the right time. You know what? Let me just stop for a second and be respectful and see who's in the chat in the parlor here. Claudio, good morning. Good morning, Claudio. How are you? All right, Claudio's the only one here. So, whoever's behind the scenes. So, it's you as you get older. What I was going to say was that if it wasn't for Zapruder, we wouldn't have the film. But there's been so many theories about Kennedy's assassination. Me personally, I'm not a ballistics expert, but from watching the Zapruder film, seeing him when he was shot go this way forward and then coming back this way tells me that he was shot from the back and then shot from the front, because if you're shot from the front, you would jerk back this way. You don't jerk back this way if you're shot from the back. You jerk back this way if you're shot from the back, not this way. So like I said, I'm not a ballistics expert, but that tells me that somebody was in the grassy knoll, that he was shot from the front. So there's so many theories. 60 years later, will we ever find the truth out? I don't know. The Warren Commission was supposed to expose that, but there's still a lot of things that are unanswered. One thing I do have all the newspapers from that day. No, actually, the next day. The next day, I have all the newspapers of all the, the headlines, Kennedy assassinated, all that. I inherited them from my mother-in-law. She had them all, and then when she passed away, I got them, and they're in a long. I can't explain it. They're almost like laminated, but they're not laminated because you can get them out. But you have to be very careful with them because they're very, very brittle. They're 60 years old. But they're interesting to look at because not just because of the history of that day in the news, but to look at and see what the prices of houses were back then and the prices of food and what was in the movies, what was on TV. It's the whole newspaper, she said, the whole newspaper. So you can go through the whole newspaper and look at it, what was going on in 1963. But like I said, they're yellow now and they're extremely brittle. Newspaper gets very brittle with time, so I don't even touch them. I don't even know where I think they're in the attic. I have about maybe 3 or 4 copies of each. She saved each like the Newark Evening News, which is not around anymore. The Star Ledger, the Times. She saved what is it? The Post, the Daily News. So I have, I think, 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, I mean, do you remember where you were? Even if you were around, some of you may not have been born back then. I know one listener who was around. I don't want to say their name, but I know one person at least that was around. I don't know what their recollection is of that day. But let me just say hello to David. David Cameron, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Were you around the day that President Kennedy was well, they say assassinated, but he was really murdered, really, to be honest with you. He was really murdered. Were you around that day? Anybody that was there that day, alive that day, and old enough to remember, we'll never forget that day. We'll never forget that day. It's just something like, it was a traumatic experience, and you don't forget traumatic experiences, just like you don't forget the space shuttle disaster or the World Trade Center. You know, those things, any kind of traumatic incident that's happened, you don't forget. You always remember where you were and what you were doing. But that's what I was doing. I was in grammar school. I was very young, and that's my recollection of that day. And I remember like it was yesterday. And it's hard to believe that it was 60 years ago. It just, I mean, you know, time flew by so quickly. And every year around this time, you know, I think about that day. I never forget November 22nd, or that whole weekend, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. He was buried on my birthday. So that's, and I'm trying to remember when Thanksgiving was that year. I don't remember. Because, oh wait, he was killed on a Friday. Yeah, he was killed on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I could look that up right now, as a matter of fact. I could go into the calendar, and I can go into 1963. Does it go back that far, the calendar? It should. Let me see. 1988. Oops, we got to go back more. 1988, just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it was on a Friday. And if I remember that, I got a good memory. Let's see, 1963, 58, 56. Come on. 1960, 1961. Okay, 1963, November, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, he was killed on a Friday. November 22nd. The 23rd was Saturday. That's when Oswald was assassinated. And 24th. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He wasn't buried on my birthday. I don't think he was. Unless it was because my birthday was the 26th that year. And that was on a Tuesday. So maybe I have to look that up. Maybe he was buried on the 25th. And it wasn't my birthday. Or I don't remember. Hey Siri, when was President Kennedy buried?
On Monday, November 25th, 1963, President Kennedy was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. This answer is from truthliberty.org.
Okay, so he wasn't buried on my birthday. He was buried on the Monday, the 25th, and my birthday was the next day. Okay, I got it mixed up. Yeah, I remember that watching I didn't have any school. I think school was closed. Yeah, school was closed because I watched the whole funeral on TV. The whole, corsage and everything. They call it the corsage. I forgot what they call that. The cortege. I don't remember what they called it. The horses and everything, going through Washington. And it was just sad. It was just very sad. And the music playing. Actually, I have a copy of that on VHS that I acquired from YouTube. It was a special that Dan Rather did many, many years ago. And I forgot what it's called, A Day in November. And it covers the whole, the whole incident, the whole sequence of events. I had that on VHS tape. But yeah, so that's that's the sad thing about this this day. I mean, it's a big day in history. And like I said, it's hard to believe that it's 60 years ago. But if you were around, like I said, Eddie Machete. No, this show was planned. If you look, actually, I was gonna do this show and talk about Kennedy and kind of like make that the headline, but I didn't want to do that. I just put down chill and chat. So if you look, I was supposed to do the show at 8:30, but I decided I'm just hanging around, not doing much. I figured I'd go on. I don't ever come on this early. In fact, if you look at the thumbnail, it says chill and chat. But I was going to talk about it anyway because it's a special day today, and I lived through it. I didn't want to put any footage up because I didn't want to get hit with copyright. Not that I would get struck, but... And I'm sure there'll be other content creators talking about this today. Or maybe not, I don't know. Were you around, Eddie? Eddie Machete, were you around on November 22nd, 1963? Were you here? Edwin, I know you... Oh, Edwin, I know that you were around. You were around in 1963, Edwin. I just said where I was. I don't know if you heard me, where I was and what I was doing. I was in grammar school. And, it was like 2:30, 2:45 in the afternoon. And I went to Catholic grammar school. And in the classrooms, we had above on the wall, there was, the speaker. And the principal, came on and said, we're all going to church to pray for the president. That's about it. That's what she said. So, okay, we're kids. Off to church to pray, And, we were saying the Hail Marys and the Our Fathers and, and then our parents came to pick us up. And then, I just explained the whole thing. But that's where I was. Because don't forget, what was it? It was 2:45. I don't know the time difference in Dallas, but it was about 2:30, 2:45 our time, and we were actually going to get ready to go out to leave because school was over. I think school was over like at 10 to 3 o'clock. So, just missed it. Born in 65. Wow. Yeah, 65. 65, you just missed it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I mean, you didn't miss much, that's for sure. You didn't miss much. So now, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, guys. Can you believe that? Like, where did the holiday come from? Next month is Christmas. Wait a minute. Next week starts December, right? Let me just check that out. Make sure. Well, I'm still in 1963. Forget about it. I got to go scroll all the way up now. I think next week starts December, right? Christmas is what? How many days away? Jeez, I mean, I tell you. So everybody is getting ready for Thanksgiving. A lot of people took off today. A lot of people are cooking. A lot of women are cooking. There's some men cooking too. They're getting ready for tomorrow, preparing their dinners. A lot of people have started to defrost their turkeys, depending on the size of the turkey. So everybody is starting to prepare for tomorrow. And, people making plans. Some people are still working today, but some people will be getting out. I remember when I was working in corporate, we got out early. We got out about maybe, I think it was 12 o'clock. I think it was 12 or maybe 1. Either 12 or 1 o'clock we got out. But we didn't work the full day. And it was nice because, in corporate, we had a nice 4-day weekend. Thursday, we had Friday off. We were closed. And then Saturday and Sunday. So it was a nice long weekend. I enjoyed that because that was the longest weekend out of the holidays that you get off. So a lot of people are, off today. A lot of people took off this week. A lot of people are working today and get out early. So people will be hustling and bustling. The supermarkets, the last minute shoppers will be at the supermarkets today. The supermarkets will be mobbed. I can tell you that much. And that's it. So tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is the big turkey day. Now, my family, we overdo it. My family, we always overdo things when it comes to eating. I mean, we have 3-course meals, and I always tell them there's no need to have that. Stop making so much food. We start out, I don't know if anybody else does this, but we start out with lasagna. We start out with macaroni, lasagna, and then lasagna is layered. It's like 4 layers, in between. But meatballs are in between, then the meat's in between there, the ricotta, the pachi's in between. So it's like 4 or 5 layers with the mozzarella. And then the bowl comes out with the meatballs and the braciole and the pork bones and the sausage. All right, this big bowl, okay? Now, that's a full course meal in itself. After you eat that, you're stuffed. Okay? You're stuffed. So then after that's all done, right, everybody's relaxing, the table's all cleared off, everybody goes inside the parlor, puts the TV on, you watch TV, right? Football game, whatever. An hour and a half later, right? I'm not kidding you. An hour and a half later, the turkey comes out. Okay, the turkey comes out, and now you have all your side dressings with the turkey. We have, you have the cranberry sauce. You have the potatoes that are that were in the oven. You have peas. You have the carrots. You have the stuffing. What else did I have? Whatever else side dressing there. The corn. All right. Now, so you eat that, right? Now you're really stuffed. So everything is cleared off the table, right? The women are inside doing the dishes. Who's doing the dishes? Who's drying the dishes? Who's getting ready for the third course? Now, we're all inside, right? Now, from the tryptophan from the turkey, we're all nodded out. Who's on the couch? Who's on the recliner? Who's snoring? TV's on. The kids are playing. The tryptophan from the turkey, I'm wiped out, right? And me, I'm not a big eater. I have a small stomach. So now, an hour and a half later, comes out the ham. All right? So now that's your 3-course meal. You got the macaroni. I'm not kidding you. You got the turkey and you got the ham. Okay? Now, of course, with the ham, the spiral ham, delicious. This is an hour and a half later, right? We're all back at the table now. And the ham comes out, and the same side dishes come back out again that we had with the turkey. No different side dishes. It's basically the same side dishes. So, you have the ham and the side dishes, okay? So you eat that, right? All right, the table's all cleared off. The women are inside, putting everything away real nice. Who's doing the dishes, right? Who's washing the dishes? Who's getting the desserts ready, right? We're inside now, okay? We gotta take a longer break. We're stuffed. So it's got to be longer than an hour and a half. 2 hours later, all right? 2 hours later, of course, the desserts come out. I mean, you can't resist the desserts, custard pie, pumpkin pie, cheesecake, Italian pastries, Fuyadell, St. Joseph's, what else? Apple crumb, and whatever everybody else brought over as dessert. And so the whole table now is full of cakes and goodies, and coffee, of course. And now comes the coffee, right? The coffee's made in the big urn, right? We have a big urn that makes the big coffee, that little nozzle that you put the cup under and it comes out, So we have one of those. So everybody gets coffee, and everybody now sitting down and eating dessert, and that's it. And that's the whole day. That's the whole day of nothing but eating. And of course, because we've made so much food, right? You've got to take home some food. Please, take some food home. Come on, we got plenty here. How about that one? right? You always hear that. Come on, we got plenty of food. Take some home. Take some home. Take some home. So everybody makes a dish. Everybody makes a dish, but you still got leftovers. You still have a lot of leftovers left over. So you're eating your leftovers, right, from Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday, usually they're gone by Sunday. So that's it in my home, in the Italian home, which we overdo every year, and they don't listen to me. So what can I say? I mean, they just don't listen. But you'll never starve. You'll never starve in Italian. Hello, Patty. Hi, Patty. Yeah, it's Patty, right? It's an all-day ritual. It's an all-day ritual of eating. You know, you have all this delicious food that's made. And I mean, I'm saying Italian home. I mean, it could be in a Jewish home. It could be, you know, I'm just saying because I'm Italian that we overdo it. That's just what we've been doing for years, you know. And I always say to them, look, why are you making so much food? Why not just make macaroni and have the turkey, or just, you know, and forget about the ham. Oh no, we gotta have the macaroni, the turkey, and ham. But you don't listen. But I said, that's too much. That's what we're having. Okay, I'm not going to argue with them. Listen, I'm not going to argue with women over food. You want to do it, you do it, okay? But, I mean, the food is all delicious, you know, and it's an all-day ritual. It's eating, resting, eating, resting, and eating and resting all day long. But I'm telling you, but after you have the macaroni, when you have the turkey, after you eat the turkey, because of the tryptophan, it's like, I mean, me for sure, I'm always out like a light, because I get real tired from the tryptophan. I'm not crazy about turkey. I actually don't like it. But if I have it once a year, that's way too much. You know, I'll eat it because of tradition and everything, but I am not fond of turkey. You know, I don't even eat the turkey cold cut, you know? So, I mean, ham, I like ham. I like spiral hams. Spiral ham is very good. And of course the macaroni. But in an Italian home, and it could be in any home, any nationality home, doesn't have to necessarily be Italian. I mean, it's an all-day ritual, and you cannot, like Patty said, you cannot leave. You cannot leave until you have dessert. That's a sacrilege. That's taboo. Are you kidding me? Oh, here's another thing too. If you're invited over the house, you got to bring something. You can't come over the house empty-handed. Now, of course, we in our family say, okay, we invite people over. Don't bring anything. We got plenty. We got enough. Now, the person on the other end that's invited, right? Oh, no. You know, forget about it. You can tell them, don't bring anything. We got plenty. But they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen because they know not to come into an Italian home empty-handed. You know, they know that. And God forbid, if you ever get invited to somebody's house and for dinner and you don't bring something over, what's wrong with you? Come on, you know what I'm saying? You can't come into somebody's house, be invited for dinner and not bring something, even if it's a loaf of bread. You know, I've known a few people that have done that. Not very good. Not very good. So if you're invited over, you know, it's not that we don't expect you to bring anything. We know you're going to bring something anyway, because no matter how much we tell you, don't bring anything, we have enough, and we really do have enough, you're going to bring it anyway because out of respect and that you have class and you have manners. So I can never see me going over somebody's house being invited. Ding dong. Hey, how are you? You know, with nothing in my hand. Never. I would be too embarrassed. Oh, I forgot about that, Patty. You're right. I forgot about that. Patty just mentioned the nuts and the fennel on the table. Now, she's right, because we have two bowls. One on one end of the table, one on the other end of the table, and they're filled with the nuts, and the nut crackers are in the bowls. You know, the eight nut crackers in each bowl, and there's all kinds of those nuts, the almonds, and I can't even name them. I never even memorized the names. You know, the real thick ones, and then you have the walnuts, and then you got the almonds, and you know the assorted nuts that come out on Thanksgiving. And don't forget the figs. Okay? We have the figs too. You know, the figs in the round circle that are on the attached to the little string that you got to pull them off. Oh, I forgot about that. That's very important, Patty. The bowl and the fennels. Yeah, the fennel. That's very important. One bowl on each side of the table. And all you hear is cracking. And then all the shells, from the cracking the nuts, the shells are all over the table from everybody cracking the nuts, you know. They don't go in the dish. They miss the dish. So that's, yeah, oh, and the anisette too. Oh my God. Yeah, see, Patty, you're just like me. You're just like me. So that is in our house. That is in our house. That's what goes on Thanksgiving, and the day just flies by so quickly. It just flies by so quickly. And then after that, I mean, before you know it, I mean, once I was going to say Halloween. Once Thanksgiving is over, man, Christmas just flies right by. Christmas flies right by. But I have to be honest with you. I don't know if it's me, maybe because I'm older, but the holidays just don't seem the same to me. Well, first of all, they're not at my house anymore because we had the holidays over at my house all the time. I insisted that everybody come over my house. And then the family just got bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, more kids, and they got bigger, and then we just ran out of room. But I always insisted on everybody coming over my house for the holidays. And they just don't seem the same anymore, you know. Well, that's because, you know, my kids are grown now, they're adults, but, you know, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I lost the excitement. You know, when the kids are little, you know, wrapping the gifts the night before on Christmas Eve, and then putting everything under the tree, and then me taking videos of that, and and pictures of the presents under the tree, and then them waking up the next morning. The excitement is not there anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because the kids are bigger now, and the grandkids are different because now I don't get them presents. What I do is I give them a budget of, you know, of X amount of money, and I take them shopping, and I let them get what they want to buy, because sometimes, you know, you'll buy them a present or something, somebody will make a suggestion, and they get it for them, and they may not like it, or somebody else may have gotten it for them. So they enjoy that. They enjoy that much better because I take them shopping in the month of January, like the first week of January. So after they've gotten all their presents from everybody else, you know, they don't really have anything to look forward to. So now in the month of January, the first week, they have something to look forward to because I'm going to take them out shopping for Christmas so they can get their whatever they want to get for Christmas. And they love it. They love it. I give them a budget, you know, whatever it is, and they just, you know, they'll tell me what stores they want to go to, and they pick out what they want. They love it. And I asked them if they like that better than getting presents on Christmas, and they said they like what I do with them better. Because, you know, they didn't say because it gives them something to look forward to. I'm saying that, but it does give them something to look forward to. And I do that for their birthdays too. But you kind of miss that, you know, that you know, giving them the presents on Christmas Day. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing about getting older, but the holidays just don't seem the same. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I know. I wish I could get that feeling back again. Well, you see, I kind of want. Well, I want to tell you something. I was talking about this the other day with one of my friends. When you get a divorce, that changes everything. Your whole life has changed. So, my whole life has changed since the divorce, which is 10 years now. You asked me where 10 years went to, I have no idea. But, you know, of course, it's changed everything because, you know, I got rid of the house. And, of course, all the holidays were spent at my house, so the house was no longer there. And I was always the one that decorated. I never really decorated the outside of the house. Halloween was my thing. So I always decorated the inside of the house. You know, I was always into that. So, you know, the house being decorated and then getting the tree and decorating the tree and, you know, so your whole life changes, you know. So that has a lot to do with it too, you know. But, you know, you move on and then there's nothing really you could do about that. But a lot of good memories. I mean, I have so many good memories. I have everything, everything is on video. I have, my whole life is on video. The whole, my kids' life, from the time that they came out is on video. I got so many videotapes. I'm in the process of transferring them now. It's taken me over a year. I'm still doing it. But it's just not the same anymore, you know what I'm saying? But, well, that was me. I didn't want it. That was me. It was her. You know, I could... I never talk about my personal life that much, but I got to tell you something. Women, and this is not all women. I'm not stereotyping women. Some women, their biological change and mental change when they're going through the changes affects them differently. Some more than others, and that's all I'm going to say. You know, it's an unfortunate thing, and I feel sorry for women because they go through so much childbearing, and then they go through changes, you know. And I'm not saying all women, because I would be stereotyping, you know, but some women, they go through a change, it's not a very good thing mentally and physically as well. It affects each woman differently, you know. So it was a tough thing, you know. So that's life, you know. That's life. You know, you live and you learn and you move on. You know, you have to. If you don't have a choice. You know. So the holidays, you know, for me are really not the same. I don't know. You know, I guess they probably would be the same if things were the same. Obviously, you know, but they're not. So. But you know, I tell you, for a lot of people, the holidays are sad, unfortunately. For a lot, I'm not saying everybody, but for a lot of people, you know, there's some sadness in the holidays. You know, you reminisce and you think about people who are no longer with us, people who were with us that are no longer with us, how things have changed, you know. So there is a little sadness, but you can't let it get you down. You know, of course, I think of my parents who are no longer with me, and my sister who passed away who is no longer with me. I mean, that's a normal thing. That's a normal thing to think that way, you know. And you think back in the past, and you know, the good times you had when everybody was at the table and everything. You know, so it can be a little depressing. It can be sad, but you can't let it get to you. You have to enjoy yourself during the holidays, and that's the most important thing. I mean, like I said, I got tons of videos of my family all together, where a lot of them are no longer around, you know, and I don't want to watch those, you know. I don't want to watch those because it's a bittersweet thing, you know. I'm glad that I have them, and then glad that I don't. I'm glad that I had that, but yet I don't want to watch them. You know what I'm saying? Because I get bummed out. I get depressed, you know. So, but you can't let it get to you. I mean, you know, as long as you know, thank God that you have your health. You're able to do the things that you can do. You're still here, and try to enjoy the holidays. You know, I don't want to bring my listeners down. But, you know, it's, you know, be thankful for what you have. And I guess that's it. You know, thank God that you wake up every day and that you have your health. Because without your health, you can't do anything. Money's secondary. I'd rather have my health than money. Because if you have your health, you could always earn money, right? Money's no good if you don't have any health. So, you know, that's the way it is. So let me just see something real quick. I got to put my glasses on. No, Patty. I don't remember Splendor in the Grass. Splendor in the Grass. Was that with William Holden? Wait, Splendor in the... Was that... I didn't think I never saw that movie. Really, Eddie? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. You see, there are people that are more fortunate than others. You know, I can sympathize with you on that. I can sympathize with you on that. Natalie Wood and Warren Beatty. I never saw that movie. I know of it. I heard of it. I don't know the last line. You know what I was thinking of? When you said Splendor in the Grass, I was thinking of, wasn't there a movie, Love is a Many Splendid Thing? Yes, with William Holden. That's the movie that I was thinking about. Wasn't that a sad movie too? Love is a Many Splendid Thing? But Splendor in the Grass, I don't think I've ever seen. So I don't know what last line you're talking about. What was the last line, Patty? I really liked Natalie Wood. I thought she was very pretty. That's a shame what happened to her. I did have that newspaper too. I used to save those newspapers when anything tragic happened, and when a celebrity died or something, and I had a whole bunch of them, and when I got rid of my house, I left them in the attic. I wasn't going to take them with me. Okay. Gain strength from what? Okay. Gain strength from what? I think I have a typo there. Something behind. It's a poem. Look it up. Okay, I will. Okay. And it's the last line of the show. I have to watch the movie now. And that got my curiosity. And I don't know why I never saw that movie. I did see Love is a Many Splendid Things many, many years ago. I was a kid. And I don't remember anything about that movie. I don't remember anything about it. Oh, it stays. Okay. Give strength from what stays behind. Gain strength from what stays behind. Okay, that's okay. I understand. Okay. You know what movie really impressed me when I was a kid? I know you got to know this movie, Patty. Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, with Deborah Carr and oh God, what the hell's his name? God, I can't think of it. Oh, Robert Mitchum. Is it Robert Mitchum? Yeah, Robert Mitchum. That was a good movie, right? Hey, Paul, how are you? Yeah, I know, Patty. You and Patty, I can have a conversation with you probably for hours on trivia and movies and stuff like that, and just like enjoy your conversation over a couple cups of coffee, or maybe a drink or something, you know, and just talking about nostalgia and movies and stuff like that, because you kind of like the same things that I do. I could tell. Oh, Patty, you got to watch that. If you never saw Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, it is a great movie. It's about a nun and a guy who's in the army who are on the island stranded. And that's all I'm going to say. And I got to tell you something. It got to me emotionally, and I was a kid when I saw this movie. But I can't tell you anything else about it. So remember, Heaven Knows Mr. Allison. Great movie. You won't be sorry. And whoever else is listening, you should watch it too. Oh, you're buffering, Paul? Okay. All right. Well, you just buffer. So I don't, it's funny. I don't have many. I don't know what it is. I only have 3 people in the chat, so maybe whoever's listening behind the scenes, there's a lot of people that listen behind the scenes that don't say anything. But and it's still early in the morning too, because I don't usually do a show this time. I usually do it like 9:30. I haven't been doing any morning shows. Actually, I'm doing this from the studio. Not the car life. It rains all night. And who is this? Hold on a second. Oh, that's a heart. Okay. Somebody sent me a heart. Listen, I got to tell you something. If I send you an email, please, if I send you an email and there is personal information in that email or personal things that I'm saying, please do not share that email with anybody else. Okay? I would appreciate it. Because if I send an email, that should be personal. Especially if there's personal information in there. I don't expect you to share with anybody else and then have a content creator do a segment on it. Okay, that's not nice. That's not right, okay? So if I do send you an email and it's personal, please leave it at that. We're adults here. Wait a minute, hold on, Pat. You said something that's very important here. I want to go back. Hold on a second. Something about the dining room table, because I think I did the same thing. Okay. Your mother always forgot the mushrooms? Oh my God, that's very important, Patty. Hey, I was like 20 hours. Yeah, I know. The mushrooms. You always. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you this. Stuffed artichokes. Stuffed artichokes were brought out. Huge stuffed artichokes. I'm trying to think out when they brought them out. I think it was before the turkey. It was after the macaroni and before the turkey. And these things were huge. And you know something? They're a lot of work to make. Yeah, they're a lot of work to make because I remember watching my wife make them. She would stuff them and it's like, but I tell you something, they were so good, so delicious. I remember going to the diner and seeing stuffed artichokes and it looked orange. There was orange stuff in there. Like, what is that? So I never order I never order or will order stuffed artichokes out. But I gotta say one thing, my wife made excellent stuffed artichokes, and I missed them. So I'll tell my son, bring a couple home. And if my son spends, one of the holidays with her sometimes, and she's making them, I'll tell him, bring a couple stuffed artichokes home for me. But yeah, they were like huge. And they were good. They were good. Some people like them, some people don't. Right, Patty. Hey, Cantaloupe Jones, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. How did we get on toys? Etch-a-Sketch? Oh, hold on, Patty. Hold on a second. You said Etch-a-Sketch, right? Give me a second here. Don't go anywhere. Wait a minute. Where is it? Ay. Let's see. Oh, come on, man. Where the hell is it? You're going to like this, Patty. Patty, you're going to like this. You're going to think I'm crazy. Where are you? Okay. This is a keychain, Patty. This is an Etch-a-Sketch keychain, see? Keychain. And it works. Look, can you see it? It works. It works. It's a miniature Etch-a-Sketch keychain. I have a lot of miniature toys. Above here, I'm looking at, all kinds of stuff. Like, here's something Here's something you would remember if you watched Lost in Space back in the day. You would remember the robot, not Robbie the robot, the robot from Lost in Space. And if you press this down, he says, "Danger, danger," but there's no batteries in it. So he's a keychain. And so I got a lot of, you guys know I collect a lot of memorabilia. You know, here's the pen from Home Alone. This is the pen from Home Alone. It talks. It's the Talk Boy pen. I have the Talk Boy up here. So I got a lot of stuff that I collect. I mean, you guys know that. I collect a lot of stuff. So as this sketch was your favorite. Yeah, I had it too. Yeah. Mattel revolvers. What did I have? I had a belt that in the middle of the belt was the gun. And then if you went like this with your stomach, if you stuck your stomach out, the gun would go like this and point out at you, and it would shoot a cap. You know, the cap would go off, and then you could take the gun off the belt and use it, you know, separately. It wasn't stationary, but it was a little derringer about this big, and it was in the belt. And if you stuck your stomach out, the gun would pop out, and the cap would go off as it came out. Then I had another gun where it was a machine gun, and it worked by batteries, and you press the trigger and it'd go real loud, you know, and the front of it would have this thing that would go in and out like a machine gun. Then I had the Red Ryder. I had the Red Ryder that Ralphie had, the BB gun. I had that, and you know, and it's funny because back then guns, you know, they look realistic. They can't do that today anymore, you know. Back then there was no orange on the tip or red on the tip. They looked real, you know. But nobody back then thought about, you know what I'm saying? It was much different times back then in the 60s, where, you know, they weren't taking fake toy guns and holding places up. At least not that I know of. So, the times have changed. Wait a minute, hold on, Cantaloupe Joan. 60s and 70s is making a comeback today. People are buying vintage lenses for their cameras. Do you know how many cameras I have? I have a big camera collection right here. I can't show you it right now. I think I've showed a few listeners. I have, you know, I don't even, I'm going to take a guess. I have like over, I don't know, I got to have at least easy 100 cameras. All kinds of cameras. Still cameras, Polaroid cameras, Brownie cameras, movie cameras. Because I'm into photography, so I have a very, very large camera collection and accessories that go along with them. So, the 007 gun, no, I didn't have that. No. I didn't have the double. I remember it, though. I do have one toy that was mine that I actually played with from the 60s, and it's I'm not going to take it down now. It's on the order of Give a Show projector, but it's Give a Show movie, and it's from 1966. So that's over 50 years ago. So it's one of my toys that I played with, and it's a like the Give a Show projector. It's a movie projector about this big that runs by batteries, and it comes with the film, and the film is looped. So you put the film is a cartridge. So you put in the movie projector, and you thread it through the projector, right? And you turn it on, runs by batteries. It's not automatic, and you flash it on the wall, and then you take it and you crank it, and as you're cranking it, the film is going through the projector, and you're watching the movie because the movie is in a cartridge and it's looped, and you just go like this and you watch the movie, and you flash it on the wall or on the ceiling while you're in bed. You know, that's what I did, and I still got that. So that's probably the only No, and that's, you know, 2 toys I have. That's those 2 are the only toys that I have. The other one is it's like a little speaker that you put little records in and it plays. So those are the only 2 toys original that I have that were mine. Our parents back then did not think about saving our toys or saving the boxes. When we got done playing with the toys and we were bored with them and we didn't play with them anymore, they threw them out. They threw them out. They threw the boxes out. Back then it was different. They didn't have any idea that toys would be collectibles in the future. No concept whatsoever. So the next day after Christmas, all the boxes went out on the or garbage day. All the toy boxes went out on the street. Those boxes are worth more money than the actual toy is, because a lot of the toys are still around, but the boxes aren't. So, but I collect a lot of memorabilia. I collect a lot of things, and you know, like I said, I have to tone it down now. I have to start getting rid of stuff because it's just getting to be too much, you know. And my son says I'm a hoarder, and I said I'm not a hoarder. There's a difference between a hoarder and what I do. What I collect are things that are sentimental. A hoarder saves everything. Yeah, I mean everything. You know, cans, newspapers, garbage, whatever. So I laugh about that all the time. So, well, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. Bella, how are you, honey? Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Patty, Eddie, Paul. I don't know if I'm going to do a show tomorrow. Probably not. We'll see. I don't know what my schedule is going to be. But if I don't do a show, I wish you all the best. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with your family or wherever you're going to spend it with, and stay safe. And thank you for joining me, everybody. And I'll see you very soon. Enjoy the day today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.